Right, so we're back with another one of these ThinkPad videos, and I've got a ThinkPad T440. This is actually my personal laptop. This is the laptop I normally use. Sadly, the headphone jack on it has died. And when I say died, I mean it has basically disintegrated. You probably can't see it on the video there, but it is basically all gone. There's just plastic all over my desk. I've pre-disassembled this machine simply because there's a lot of things inside here, like there's the extra battery, there's the SSD and stuff, and also the bottom case is a bit of a pain to get off, so I thought I would do some pre-disassembly to make this go a bit quicker, because there's nothing worse than a video about mindlessly fixing a laptop than it going on forever. So I'm just going to be replacing the motherboard in this video. So at the moment I'm just playing a game of unplug all the visible connectors, which is quite fun. That's the fan. The fan all comes off in one unit, so I shouldn't have to worry about that. I do have to worry about the wireless cards in here. I'm going to be taking out this 4G card because it doesn't actually work in the UK. I didn't know that when I bought it, but yeah, it's an LTE card, and in the UK we have 4G, but it uses totally different signal frequencies, so that can probably go in the bin. I need to buy the 3G modem, which will work. We've then got the tiny Wi-Fi card, which I will need to reuse. Never been removed from here until today. I wonder, could I? No, I can't keep that in there. I was going to say, could I like keep the connectors all in? I can't. What else do we have? We got up here more ribbon cables. Presumably that's the power button, and this one here is the LCD, and it's one of these annoying ones that you have to flip up. Little gold thing and put it out. There you go. I really need to get some sort of camera set up where you can see an overhead view of this, because at the moment I can see that I'm not really showing everything. Right, so there's some connectors over here under a metal thing. I think we saw this before on the X220. It's a very similar design. These laptops, they're pretty much cut and paste. See, same little metal bracket. Yeah, this is the actual LCD data cable. That other one I think is just like power. Then we've also got this connector here. I don't know what your purpose in life is, but you're coming out. So I think that's every connector undone. So now it's time to play Find All the Screws, which will probably be quite loose because I've had this motherboard out before. We're going to leave the heatsink screws in for now. I will be repasting my new motherboard that I've got, simply because it's actually got a faster CPU. This has got an i5 4300U in it. The new motherboard has a i7 4600U. Much faster. Oh yeah, we've got this little metal thing over here, which has its own unique screw. Forgot about that. How does it come off again? There we go. Yeah, I forgot about that little tiny metal thing. I don't know why it exists, but it does. I like how the motherboard says M23 and the actual metal piece says M25. So obviously you could probably put it in without the metal thing. I think that's what it's saying. I don't know why you'd do it without the metal thing. The metal thing came there from the factory. It's obviously important. Oh, another one. There's two more screws I can see. No, that's... I could see a PCB under the hinges. Like, I don't have to remove the bloody screen, do I? But no. Totally different. So. Okay, the aerial cables do need to come out because they're on the motherboard here. Oh, I know what we've forgotten. The keyboard. I always forget the blooming keyboard on these. Damn, that's a dirty keyboard. Really dirty. I would say that's my problem because it's my computer, but at the same time, they go dirty just if you give them a dirty look. They always dirty, these keyboards. Haven't really found a good way to clean them. If you know of a way to keep your ThinkPad T440 keyboard clean, let me know. Is that all the screws? I always have trouble seeing all the screws. No, it isn't all the screws. There's one there. There's loads up on this middle row. It's easy to forget one. There we go. I think that's the last screw there. So I am annoyed that I did have a backlit keyboard for this machine and I broke it. The track point broke on it and I tried to glue it and fix it and I made it worse. So yeah, I really do not like this design, Lenovo, where I have to remove the keyboard to remove the motherboard and it's got this tiny little spot in here and man, I need to clean this all. Let's throw the keyboard back there for now. So now the motherboard will be loose. Yeah, it's fallen out. How am I going to grab that? There we go. That's the old motherboard. Now I can actually really close up look at that broken headphone jack, and man, is it broken. Fascinating. Fascinatingly broken. So, let's have a look in here then. Let's close the machine up. And let's put a new motherboard in. This is the replacement motherboard. It's much faster. It's an i7 4600U. It's got the extra 4 gigs of RAM on board, so it can go up to 12 gigs of RAM total in the system. It's just a much better motherboard, isn't it? So now we have the difficult balancing process of trying to get it in without getting cables under it, which is not easy, because all these cables want to do is get underneath it. There we go. Oh no, we've got a ribbon cable here. I think that's every cable. There should be, oh, these need readjusting massively. Can't go under the blooming motherboard. There we go, we can then route these through these little channels. Look at that. Oh god damn it, I've got more cables underneath the motherboard here, but I've probably pulled that one out. As for the ribbon cable, just about. That ribbon cable is actually our power button, so I might hook it up, hook up that power button and try it on a battery. I'll hook up all the display and stuff. I don't need a keyboard or anything, I just want to see if it posts for now. Because there's nothing worse than buying a motherboard on eBay for quite a bit of money and then finding out that it doesn't post. I'm going to put some screws in this as well, simply because the screws do help ground the motherboard and I don't want it falling out and breaking. So I'm only going to put screws where I see arrows and stuff. I'll probably only put 2 screws in for now. It's more than enough to hold the machine in place. So let's continue putting ribbon cables in for now. There's actually a little button there. I've never seen that before. I wonder if that's a power button or is it? It's probably a reset button. I don't know. I've never seen that little button on the front of the T440 by the front battery connector. Huh. It's not labelled as to what it does. I mean, it's so far away from the BIOS battery that I'm not going to... I don't think it's a reset button for like the BIOS settings. I'm going to assume that's a power button. Must be. Right, as for these aerial connectors, they're annoying me. I'm going to put the Wi-Fi card in for now. Well, it needs to go in eventually, doesn't it? So I might as well put it in now. Then once the Wi-Fi card is in, I can hook up at least 2 of them aerial cables to get them out of the way. Specifically the black and the grey. I'm getting better at these stupid reverse SMA connectors. I still think that the person who invented them is an awful person. They're probably the same person who invented hold music and YouTube comment sections, but hey. And it's always the case that one of them goes in easier than the other. You always end up having to sit there fiddling around. And because of the little rigid coax, these things are a real pain because they just pop themselves off and they don't want to sit in place, and it's so frustrating. Who designed these? I want to speak to Life's manager and get them to replace these. I mean, I understand why they are like this. It's so that it's to avoid interference, because it's a coaxial connection. You don't want to turn it into a Molex connector or something, do you? But at the same time, I shouldn't have to swear to the gods or something to get it installed. Right, I'm going to use the tried and tested method of electrical tape in the other two, because I don't have the original rubber things anymore. I will be putting a modem in here eventually, so it's not like a permanent solution. I just don't want the little contacts touching anything, really. And I really suck at electrical tape. I guess that's why I've never been a big fan of it, because it always just falls off for me. There we go. Close enough. Right, let's install the rest of the display connectors here. So we've got the data cable. I believe that's the data cable. I honestly don't know. It's a stupid pushy down one. It's really hard to align. There we go. Then we've got that one, which I believe is some sort of... I think that goes to the LEDs or something. I don't know. I don't see any cables that don't need plugging in anymore. So let's test it out. I've got a battery. So let's just start by plugging the battery in and seeing if it's like shorted out or anything. I don't see any shorts. Bang the microphone with the laptop. Let's open it up and try it. Blooming hell works, don't it? Real-time clock error. Press F1 to enter setup. I don't have a keyboard to hand. Oh crap. If I'd thought about this, I would have unplugged a USB keyboard. Fiddlesticks. So I can't go any further than this, but we do have a message on the screen. It's complaining about a real-time clock error. I did press the little button, so maybe that little button is a reset real-time clock button. But I'm happy with that. As long as it posts, I don't care if it's got any major like issues. Well, obviously I do care if it's got major issues, but if it's like got a BIOS password, it doesn't bother me. My old motherboard had a BIOS password. So, shall we install more screws? Fun activity, isn't it? This is the quality entertainment that you decided to watch today. A spotty teenager taking apart a ThinkPad and really failing at this cable management malarkey. This is why I don't work for Lenovo, by the way. It's because I'm not very good at this. Get in that cable management groove. There you go. Now I've got this metal thing. What sort of screws did that have on it? M23. Literally every screw in this machine is M23. I swear. Except for the M25. The one screws in this machine I wish I knew how to obtain would be the back panel screws, actually. I think they're M25s, but they've got, like, a captive part on them. I don't know where I'd find any more of them, because a couple of mine are a bit stripped out, and I've lost some of them somehow. They fell out. Don't ask. Don't know. So, yeah. I'd like to know where I could find some of them. Let's put that in there. I believe the Wi-Fi cards went in there, didn't they? Were they M23? Oh, you know what? Who cares? No one. That's who. We do have the M25 thing here, which we should put on. It gives us proper shielding between our USB 3 port and our Ethernet, because they're both gigabit connections. Obviously, the last thing you want is to have interference between them. That's why that shield's there, I assume. I've never really looked into it too much. See, it's simple enough to install like that. Did I install it correctly? No, I did not install it correctly. Lenovo, why do you make such a stupid bracket? No, but seriously, why does this bracket exist? I don't like it. Because I have to hook it on there at a weird angle. I have no idea what you can see on the camera. Probably more than me. Oh, I'm trying to hook it onto the wrong area, that's why. That's your problem. I wonder if this doesn't fit this revision motherboard or something. Because it looks like the hole is different. Oh no, it must fit because it's part of the case it hooks into. But I can't get it to sit in there flush. Well, I did the first time, but it was not installed correctly. Unless it's meant to go that way. Oh no, I think that's meant to go that way, that way, that way. Hey, I think I've done it. It has a weird hooky on mechanism. One goes on the outside, one goes on the inside. Don't ask why. It's Lenovo. Right. I say put in the rest of the M23s. That's what I'm got to do. Now I've got to put the keyboard in and we'll see what happens. No, M23. How many more M23 spots can there be? Oh, another one down here by that conveniently placed BIOS reset button, which is nowhere near the bloody BIOS battery. Whoa. Or maybe that BIOS battery's dead. Who knows? Right. Come on, there must be another M23 socket here somewhere. I don't see one. So where did this screw come from? Oh dear. That's probably important, isn't it? Right, if it doesn't have an arrow going to it, you don't take the screw out. Oh, it goes up here. You don't take the screw out because that's probably a screw hole used for the bottom case. Right, let's put the keyboard in. And then I can go into BIOS and see if it's BIOS protected. And that will be it for this video, basically. I'm obviously going to do some stuff off camera, like I'm going to install my 8GB RAM module to bring this up to the full 12 gigs. I'm going to reinstall my SSD and stuff, and hopefully Windows activation is not going to have a field day there. It's going to be like, oh my god, your license has changed and your serial number's changed. But I think I'll be able to activate it because this does have the Windows 8 Pro digital license in it, and Windows 10 does activate on that. It just probably want a reactivation because it's a different machine, but it will have a valid license still, hopefully. If not, I'm going to be really naughty and just crack it because I can't be asked to mess around when the machine does have a valid license key installed. I do not condone software piracy. I was supposed to clean that keyboard before I put it on, wasn't I? Oh well. You know what? You only live once. I can clean the keyboard another day. It's easy enough to clean when it's in place, actually, because you just unscrew it. Well, you don't even have to unscrew it. You can just lift up the access panel and then blow it out with an air can. Just make sure I've got them all, because if you don't do all the screws, then you lose your spill resistance, obviously. But don't strip them. There we go. Then we have the horrible task of closing this, which can only be done with a screwdriver. I do not like this keyboard design, I'm going to be honest. It's why there's a scratch on my computer now, because someone, not me, scratched it with a screwdriver. Right. So, I think we're good for a second run here. Where's my battery gone? Keeping the battery in with no catch is quite a challenge, but there we go. I did it. F1. Do we have a BIOS password? No! Thank God! I've lost the BIOS password in this upgrade. That is worth £1 million to me, because now I can turn on Hyper-V virtualization support. I've got an i7 4600U, 4 gigs of memory, and I've still got an empty socket on the motherboard. And let's just check, like Intel AMT, it's enabled. It'll be security, won't it, I'm looking for. Anti-theft. CompuTrace not activated. Brilliant, works for me. Secure boot disabled, thank God. Bottom cover tamper detection. What? Maybe that's what the button's for. It detects when the bottom's opened. All that's on. Virtualization technology. Someone's already turned it on for me. Thank you. I like Hyper-V. Security chip. Discrete TPM. I'm just basically exploring now. Fingerprint is enabled. Thank God. I don't want to reset the fingerprint data. Hardware password manager is on, but there's no passwords here. Supervisor password disabled. Power on password disabled. Thank God. The time and date. This always confuses me. When they make the BIOSes, they let the date go before the machine was built and before the BIOS version was built. Surely they'd just make it stop at the... I'm not going to... And I also have to hold shift to do this. Right, is this American? It is American. So I need to do 2. It's the 7th. and it's 2019. I hate this BIOS so much. How do I get... There we go. And it is 11:46. It's actually 11:43. My phone on my desk is wrong. Save configuration changes and exit now. Yes. I think that's a success. I have recovered my laptop. I've got a new headphone jack, faster CPU, more RAM, no BIOS password. It's a whole new machine now. All I need is my backlit keyboard back, and I've got a top spec machine and maybe a working Wi-Fi working modem, because the 4G modem does not work in the UK. So that's it for this video. I'll hopefully get some more ThinkPads in to do some more videos, because I do like doing these ThinkPad videos. I do like doing unedited videos on these. I like just showing you as I do it, like this. I want to get a better camera angle here. I do actually have a camera mount in the ceiling. That means I'd have to run 2 cameras at the same time, so I need more equipment to do that and stuff. But I will hopefully do that in the next video, because I think it would have been nice to have a top-down view when I did this. So anyway, that's it from me from this video. Be sure to see you in the next one.